Those who give up some of their liberty in order to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
Welcome back to Scott's Media. Today we continue our journey through the United States Constitution with the 23rd Amendment, the amendment that finally gave the residents of Washington, D.C. the right to vote for the President of the United States. For most of American history, the people living in the nation's capital had no say in presidential elections. They paid taxes, they served in the military, they worked in government, but they had zero representation in choosing the president. The 23rd Amendment changed that, and it reshaped the way our democracy functions. Let's explore why this amendment was needed, how it passed, and the impact it continues to have on American elections.
We pay taxes just like everyone else, but when Congress makes a decision, we don't have a vote in it.
That's right. These numbers show how much federal funding we miss out on because of it.
Exactly. We're doing the work, but don't get the representation.
When the founders created Washington, D.C., they imagined it as a neutral federal district, not a state and not a place where residents would vote in national elections. Back then, the area was mostly farmland and temporary housing. But as the capital grew, thousands of Americans lived, worked, and raised families there. By the 20th century, Washington, D.C. had become a major city, yet its citizens still had no voice in choosing the president. This inequality became increasingly difficult to justify. Americans across the country began to ask a simple question: why should the citizens who live in the nation's capital be denied the same voting rights everyone else enjoys? The movement for D.C. voting rights gained momentum in the 1940s and 1950s. The result was the 23rd Amendment, giving the district a voice in presidential elections, but with important limitations. The 23rd Amendment marks one of the most important corrections in the history of American democracy. For generations, the residents of Washington, D.C. lived in a unique and often unfair position, paying federal taxes, serving in the military, and fulfilling every civic obligation expected of American citizens, yet having no voice in choosing the President of the United States. They were citizens of a country that gave them responsibilities, but not representation. Ratified in 1961, the 23rd Amendment finally addressed this democratic imbalance. It granted the District of Columbia a number of presidential electors equal to the least populous state. This didn't make D.C. a state, and it didn't give the district full representation in Congress, but it ensured that hundreds of thousands of Americans could no longer be ignored in the most important national election we have, the selection of the president and vice president. The text of the amendment explains that these electors are appointed as Congress directs and function exactly like electors from any state. They meet in the district, cast their votes, and follow the constitutional procedures outlined in the 12th Amendment. Section 2 then gives Congress the power to enforce these provisions, making sure the voting rights of D.C. residents are protected under federal law. While the debate over full representation for the district continues to this day, the 23rd Amendment was a major step forward, a recognition that no American living under the laws of this nation should be excluded from participating in choosing its leadership. It was a long overdue acknowledgement of fairness, equality, and the basic principles of representative government.
Seal looks good. Add it to Michigan's packet.
On it. Wyoming's almost ready for signature.
We'll have the courier out before lunch.
The 23rd Amendment doesn't give Washington, D.C. the same power as a state. Instead, it grants the district a number of presidential electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives it would have if it were a state, but capped at the number given to the least populous state. This means D.C. receives 3 electoral votes. It's enough to give the people a voice, but not enough to equal the representation of a full state. The amendment was a compromise, extending voting rights without redefining D.C.'s legal status.
The citizens of the district bear the same obligations as every other American: service, taxation, yet lack a voting voice in this body. The proposal before you outlines a
What do we want? Voting rights. When do we want them? Now. DC deserves the ballot. Let the people vote. No more taxation. Without representation.
While the 23rd Amendment gave DC a voice in presidential elections, it did not grant statehood, representation in the Senate, voting members of the House, full self-governance. These issues remain subjects of political debate even today. The 23rd Amendment solved one problem, but left others unresolved.
You're all set. Just slip it right through the slot until you hear the click.
Okay, and there it goes.
Perfect. Here's your sticker. Thank you for voting.
Thank you.
I think she wants one too. Of course she does. Every good helper gets one. Here you go.
Since 1964, Washington, D.C. has participated in every presidential election. The amendment ensured that the hundreds of thousands of Americans living in the nation's capital finally had representation at the highest level of government. While debates over D.C. statehood continue, the 23rd Amendment remains a crucial milestone in expanding voting rights and correcting a long-standing imbalance in American democracy. The 23rd Amendment provided long overdue voting rights to the residents of Washington, D.C., ensuring their voices are finally heard in presidential elections. Thank you for watching this breakdown of the 23rd Amendment. This is Scott's Media, continuing our full constitutional series, one amendment at a time.
When a king becomes a tyrant, he thereby breaks the contract binding his subjects to him.
How so?
By taking away their rights.
Rights that came from him in the first place?
All except one. The right to be free comes from nature.
And are we not free, Mr. Jefferson?
Homes entered without warrant, citizens arrested without charge, and in many places, free assembly itself denied.
No one approves of such things, but these are dangerous times.
Be careful, Mr. Dickinson. Those who give up some of their liberty in order to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
Thanks for watching Scott's Media, where truth meets creativity. Check out these videos to keep the story going. And yep, that's the official merch right on your screen and in the description below. Want to support the channel directly? My Cash App and Venmo are below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss what's next. Rock the message, support the mission. I'll catch you in the next one.